Okay, guys. I got another project I want to try out before tomorrow. It's supposed to be a half decent day tomorrow, and I want to set up something that I've been trolling around on YouTube, and I ran into a few videos where people were actually using a super capacitor or a capacitor on their e-bike to gain a little bit of performance. Just like if you were to use big capacitors on, say, like an amplifier, you have that extra reserve for peak demand. I don't see why it wouldn't work for an e-bike. There's other benefits as well. Say you're in the middle of the night, you're riding and your battery dies or your BMS cuts out. If your bike has, it's all in one, like your lights and everything run off the pack, you're basically screwed, you're in the dark. But if you got something like this set up, wired into the bike, as you're pedaling, your hub motor is going to basically turn into an alternator and charge these up, which will hold enough charge to probably keep your lights going until you get home. So I think it's worthwhile for me to do it just because of that. I'm going to make a low profile. Basically, grab some. Last year I grabbed this wrap and it's not that good. It's not very smooth when it goes on. It doesn't shrink very well. So what I'm thinking of doing is just basically shrink two of these. These are Cornell doublers. These are rated for, what's this, 1800 UF at 200 volts. Get up to 85 Celsius. And then there's an emergency cap there. Basically, I'm going to be running them at 66 volts, so they should be fine. I'll run them in parallel. I guess first thing we're going to do is we're going to wrap them, or get the wrap ready for them anyway. I want the wrap to shrink around the top after I put the wires in, so we're going to leave a little extra. Do that times 2. I'm glad I'm using this stuff up because this is like the worst wrap I've ever picked up on Amazon. Plus, it gives these a little bit more lower profile. I don't want these two big capacitors blue on my bike. At least if they're black like the bike, I can stick them underneath something or on the sides or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So when we're getting that ready, the alternator. Now here's the deal. It's funny. A couple of days ago, I went by the Sports Exchange and they were actually open. I saw some bikes outside. I was going to stop, but I didn't have any money on me at the time. I was going to go back, and the day later, we get this announcement on TV that instead of our 4-week lockdown, it's a 6-week, and they've actually closed more stuff. And I'll check this week if it's open, but I really doubt they are. I would like to just get this thing going and on the bike and stop working on the other one. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to try this out. I know what the bike is like. Even if I was to remove one cell from my pack, I would feel it. That's how sensitive I am to e-bikes. So I'll install this tomorrow, and hopefully it makes a difference. What else we need? We need some wire. For that, we're going to hit the bag. This wire doesn't have to be thick because it's not really actually taking a load. It's just going to be idle with whatever your pack voltage is, which is 66 volts. So you don't have to use high-end wire here, extra thick, and like that stuff's way too much overkill. What would work good is old power supply wire from the computer. If I can find it. Got enough of it. What do you think of that? I don't throw any wiring out except for this stuff. That's going in the garbage. This stuff's garbage. This stuff here, I don't know what it's made out of. It's out of China. It's not real copper because it breaks down so quickly and shorts and melts and everything else. Now here's some computer wire, but that's a little thin. Seems thicker than that. could actually use these. They already got posts on them. No phase wires. Not good for anything else. Let's see. Problem with those is if they came loose, they would. You don't want anything that's going to turn, because that would be worst case scenario. That would be like your pack voltage shorting out, and that would be bad. So I couldn't really use these. I'm going to save them because I don't want to cut these off. These are good for projects. Just give me a minute to dig through this wire and see what I can find that's half decent thickness. Actually, what we're going to do is this board here I pulled out of a Keurig coffee machine the other day. This is thick enough. We're just basically going to cut it off the board here. I just make blue negative instead of black. But this stuff's thick enough it won't rub out. Hope it's plugged in. It is not. I'm going to start by putting some shrink on the one end of this. Actually, no, let's wire it together first. This makes more sense. So there are a lot of 6 people in Ontario right now, Canada. Ugh, it's kind of freaky. They're they said they got about 1 more week before they just have to start making the life and death decisions. So you know what? Take care of yourself, because you don't want to be stuck up in that. That would suck. Now, usually what I would do is I would solder these wires just to give it a little bit of strength. But since this is just a test, I don't want to overdo it. I just want to get it set up enough where the wires aren't going to slip off, and it's safe enough that it's not going to short. See, like that. Ouch. Ow. You ever got wire stuck in your finger? Oh, yeah, that feels good. Well, this is going to take a while, so what I'll do is I'll pause this video and get these wired up. We got 1 day that's going to be nice, which is tomorrow, and then after that there's another day with snow, and then it's supposed to get warm again. It's crazy weather. I don't even like saying the word snow. That'll work. I think what I'll do is after I'm done this, I'll put a little bit of hot glue around the poles, just for a little bit extra protection. Just so there's sort of like a barrier between the 2 poles, in case one of these wires do slip off, it doesn't go dead short. But then I don't think it really matter anyway, because I'm going to have it set up where it's past the my breaker, so it won't be a dead short. It'll just pop the breaker, which it should be. Cool, there's 2. And what I'll do is I'll just strip the insulation off the two here and make a gap there, wrap them around, and do the same thing. Okay, so I always over-engineer it. I put a little bit of goop in between the poles. That'll keep the wires from breaking free and touching, and also keep the nuts from loosening off. So now what's left to do is to shrink wrap them without touching the goop. And then what I do is I'll just basically glue them together as one package. Ugh. Put my finger through it. Alright, we'll try that. I'm going to use our heat gun here. I'll say one thing, this is very satisfying. Using shrink wrap. Now this should shrink right down to the same size as the battery or the capacitor. I think we need a little bit more heat. There we go. That one doesn't seem to be as far as I want it. There. So like I said, the stuff isn't the best. It does leave wrinkles and everything else. It's just terrible wrap for batteries. And not very soft. Just trim the bottoms off a little bit. Now if it gets soft enough, you can just fold it over until it dries, which it dries pretty quickly. or it gets cold quick. There. Well, let me touch this up, and then we'll glue them together, and I'll do a video and see if there's much of a difference on the bike, which I'm pretty sure there's going to be. May help out a little bit. And get less sag on the batteries with it. Okay, that's about it. I'm just going to find something to strap these together, put a little bit of glue in between them to give them support. Squish. Not perfection, doesn't need to be, because if it doesn't work, I mean, I'm not going to waste my time on it. The wires are good, just give it a chance to dry, and then all we have to do tomorrow is strip it down, or strip the wires, and tie it right into my wiring harness. Oh, Jesus Christ, that was a bad idea. Ugh. Now I got glue everywhere. The only thing good about this glue is that even when it's dry, it dries as a rubber. Now when it's concentrated, it's pretty strong, but if you get some wiped on the your surface, it won't stay there. It wipes off. Anyway, let's try this. It's gonna sit overnight anyway and dry. Good enough. Just want to make sure they're lined up. Just makes it easier to put it on the bike. And everything lines up. That's good enough. Cool. Well, there you go, guys. We'll try it tomorrow and see how it performs. Later.